Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome to the Huddle. Paul isn't here to do the intro again, so we have to say this yet again because he's the best at it, and we can't even try to come close to how good he is at it. So we're just not even going to attempt it.
Welcome everybody to the Huddle, your weekly updates of other stuff that Paul usually says, and he wings it pretty good. Thanks for joining us. Today we have Daniel and Jose with preferred flooring. Oh wait, as always, there, got you, Paul.
So today we're going to be discussing expanding your services. I know a couple weeks ago we talked about focusing on one and you know niching down, right, and how can you focus and become good at that and really that's what we did and made our name in the resilient side of things. But I think the fact of the matter is that if we only did resilient, we were just talking about this before we went live here, is we'd be sitting around for 6 months out of the year because although yes, we are pretty good at it and it's what we like to do, it's not always, it's not always there. So what can we do in order to stay afloat and keep our guys busy and still keep on moving? So I mean, not only that, we didn't even and start in resilient. We started in carpet, really.
Yep, carpet and vinyl base, man. Some broadloom, and that was what we started on. I just found something that very few people did and decided to attack that. That was all. And Daniel's right. There's a lot of downtime. Flooring is seasonal. We found out long ago that flooring is seasonal. Different types of flooring are seasonal in the commercial industry. Let's get that straight. Commercial wise, this is us talking about that. And I do know now that it applies somewhat to residential, but commercially speaking, you got seasons, right? You have let's start with the flooring season. We have school season. You have hospital season. You have industrial season. Like there are times of the year when um, these places kind of ramp up, and you have your the fiscal year where a lot of places are ending and but June 30th, something like that, and they're trying to bury funds. School season
Well, you
is
got to keep the budgets right.
yeah, school season is during summer break. You know, you have very small windows of opportunity to get a lot of work done. Um, but that goes back to what we started talking about, and she had mentioned what Paul Note had said, and I don't recall what that was, Daniel, about
Making
you,
sure that you get training right and set budgets for yourself when
yeah,
you're looking at expanding your services. Just talking about, I mean, I've talked to guys that were like, hey, I'm gonna start concrete polishing, and it's like, okay, that'd be pretty good. Are you going to be taking some classes? Because that's something that not you can't just go out there and think that you can polish concrete. There's guys that are very good at it, and you got to learn from some of these guys, and there's classes for it. But not only that, you're looking at equipment. I mean, the the guys that do our concrete polishing, their equipment is ridiculous. I mean, they they drive around with two grinders that upwards of $30,000, and that's just for the grinder. That's not the vacuums. That's not the generators. So it's like, how much are you going to actually spend to try and get started expanding your services? And
right.
concrete polishing probably, I mean, could it be one of those? Absolutely, but you're going to have to start small. Are you going to start just doing concrete polishing in garages, right? In basements, something like that. But because you're not going to be doing these huge jobs where it takes hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of tooling to go in there and do right off the bat. So it definitely, Paul is right. You got to set your budgets and make sure that you're setting yourself up for success by getting the training, right? We're all about training on the huddle, so there's no surprise there. But yeah, you have to get training.
Yeah, educating yourself to what steps you need is very important. And and when you mentioned the buffers, like or the grinders, I'm sorry, the grinders at $30,000 for one unit, and that's on a very small scale. That's not a it's not a very large unit at all. And I think long ago when I back in my day when I first started doing flooring, there was a place down the street from where our office is actually located now called Bay Area Interiors, and I remember they were doing terrazzo. They were the only company doing terrazzo on this side of the state for a while there, and I remember asking them, "Hey, do you want to learn how to do this? We can teach you. We can teach you." And I was like, uh, maybe." Um, they're like, "Yeah, first you're gonna have to get $100,000 worth of equipment just to start." Yeah, nope, sorry, I'm not at that level. Not right now. I was just working with a sub at that time, and I remember them trying to sell us on that back when the mall was being built and no one around was doing it.
I mean, you look at the airports, and it's very prevalent in airports. I was at a meeting a few weeks ago, and met the guy that does the buying for the airports, and that's what he was talking about. He was like, that was his first question to me. Oh, you do flooring? Do you do terrazzo? I said, nope. You want terrazzo? You have a choice of either. And then he named two companies. I said, that's all you got. He
Yep.
said, yeah, I know. I said, and that's all you're gonna get unless you go out of state. He said, there's one more company over by Detroit that does it, but other than that, yeah, there's two companies in Michigan, or three companies in Michigan, and then that's basically all you get for terrazzo. But I mean, it is very labor intensive. So not just that, it's the equipment, right, and the know how. It's probably very easy to mess up. So just make sure you're
Yeah.
staying within your budget and know what you're getting into when it comes to expanding. So now that we talk about that, I mean, there's other things that you can expand into. So if you are doing carpet, which a lot of people start with, you want to get into the resilient side. Um, a lot of guys are scared to do it because it is, we talk about it all the time. It's one cut, you're done. If you cut that 30-foot piece of vinyl short, guess what? There is no fixing that like you can with carpet. So there
Well,
is training out there for it. And I just seen Rod Von Bush from CFI posted a couple trainings today that are happening over, I think, in his area of Kentucky or something like that. And the NAFCT, we're going to be down at America's Floor Source in October for some heat weld and flash cove stuff. So the training is out there. Make sure you're taking advantage of it. This is how you can do it and get your foot in the door without. Come use our equipment. Come get your hands on it, and see if you can actually see if you even like it before you
yeah,
start doing it. Because the last thing you want to do is accept a job and then try and scrounge around for all these tools and just go out there and start messing stuff up right away. I
yeah.
mean,
That's
that's kind of what we did, but we weren't the ones in charge at the time. It was the guys that were getting the projects for us that we worked under at.
like So, do you think that you can do this? I'm sure I can do whatever you guys got. Have you done it before? Nope. Are you scared? Nope. Just give me some literature. I'll figure it out. But you gotta give yourself a chance to be hands on before you get thrown out there. And I think that's where this is coming from. Is don't limit yourself to one niche, right? Like if you're good at one thing, chances are you're good or great at another as well. And it's just a matter of going to some of uh, educational classes, trainings, certifications, or just going and hanging out with a group of floor nerds and getting your hands on something that you typically don't touch, just to get a feel for it.
Well, that's the other thing too, right? Is hanging out with and going to these events. That's going to be where you can talk about things and where you can meet people that are very good at something that you may want to do or jobs that you want to take on. Uh, Jimmy called me up and was like, "Hey, I got this Forbo thing going on," asking me a bunch of questions. And then when it came down to it, he was like, "Hey, I still don't feel comfortable. Can you come down and help me out?" And I did. I went down there and helped him out for a day. It's because he put himself out there, man. He's a great guy. We hang out at the events all the time, and it's like, of course, he's a fellow CFI guy, NFIC. So hey, when your brother's in need, you go help him out. And I know that one day, if we're ever in that position, he'll come and return the favor. And it's all about that networking aspect of things and knowing that, hey, I might want to get into this, so let me go hang out with the people that are into it already.
Yeah, and it's I don't know, maybe I was a little bit of a different person too. Like whenever I wanted to learn something new, I really honestly, this is my approach. I offered my assistants for free on an evening or a weekend to go learn something new. And I knew that I knew that I was just going to be there asking a bunch of questions and I was going to end up being a gopher, but that's totally fine. I don't care. I absorb things fairly quickly, and I wanted to see if something was in my if I could understand it, if it was going to be in the realm of something I wanted to try or do or invest my time in. And that applies to more than just flooring, right? It applies a large variety of things. Not saying you guys have to do that, but if someone around you is good at something and they're willing to bring you on and show you, and you're willing to go learn for 8 hours just by being a helper, go do it and do whatever you can to get a little piece of that knowledge information to see if it's something that you would like to pursue.
Yeah, and there's
Um,
been plenty of guys that have reached out to us, and it's like, can I just come help you guys out for a day or two? And it's like, man, again, if we did sheet vinyl every single day, it'd be no problem. Like, yeah, come out here, come and help us out. But to have the schedules align and for everything to match up perfectly is so hard that I can't just be like, you know what, come help out, because it's like, man, it could be 2-3 months from now where we'll be have a sheet vinyl project, and then even then it's a bathroom.
yeah, like the one we're doing this week.
Yeah,
Just I mean, very small. And then scheduling wise, what just happened? Something happened. Can't be there now for a little bit. So scramble mode. Fill the schedule. Um, I'm just wondering, like, so I can we can only me Daniel whatever we can only talk to the area over here. There's a lot of guys around in our local area that do gravitate towards one discipline, and they do team up with other installers to adopt another discipline, because that's a lot of what the projects entail are more than just one type of flooring. And I think that's a great way to go about it. That's a great way to find out if you'll have a liking to another discipline, but it's also another way to avoid learning. If you invite someone to help you out with a project and you're like, that's yours over there. Do not cross this line. This is mine over here. Uh, be uncomfortable for a little bit. Go help out. Ask some questions, and vice versa to the person who's going to help. I mean, there's a reason why there's multiple materials on a single project, right? And if you can offer more than one discipline to a client, they would rather deal with one person than multiple people. It does make things a lot easier on the back end. But if not, totally understand. Um, and if you're one of those people that are comfortable offering a service that you have no knowledge on, man, you better keep your fingers crossed and good luck. Um, I will give you that little bit of advice.
right. Because even going from commercial to residential or residential to commercial, it's completely different world. I mean, we know residential guys that will only do residential, and commercial guys that will only do commercial, because residentially, that's where you make your money, and then you go to commercial, and you're like, how can you even make money here? And that's what commercial guys say about residential. It's like,
It's a comfort thing. And we keep talking about installations and hands-on stuff, but you could always expand your services in the industry to beyond just being an installer. There's if you're good at something, you can go help train. You can, I mean, is there a lot of money to be made in that? Probably not the best money, but
How
you
about
can.
we say not yet? Because that's something that needs to be talked about in the industry too. It's that needs to be something to where you can make a living at training once you can't be on your knees anymore, because there's too many guys out there that are great at what they do, that are great at teaching, that should be a career path that people should be able to look at and be like, yes, I do want to train. I mean, look at what John Steyer's doing. That dude is ridiculous when it
It,
comes to what he's doing with training right now. I mean, if he were to make as much money installing and just focus on training, how many people he could have coming up in the
mm-hmm.
industry would that's really what we need. So how can we expand not just services but the industry to accept that that's what we need in here so we can have that option as well.
That is a great and valid point onto that. You that's the teach a guy how to fish type scenario, right? Steyer's teaching a lot of individuals how to fish. That's for sure. They're going to be feeding a lot of families. That's worth its weight in gold, in my opinion.
Kevin says he was always told it's better to be a master of one than a hack of many. Back then, it was much different time for flooring. And the crazy thing is that I thought it was different back then, where a lot of guys did everything and did it well. I mean, look at just like, for instance, John Namba, where he's got certifications in basically anything that you could do. He can do ceramic, he can do wood, he can do carpet, whatever you want to do, he can do it. Right. And that's really how I thought guys back in the day were. It's like, I'm going to do everything and I'm going to do it well.
I think it was
But
a trade off too, right? Like um, back in the day, they probably helped a lot with the other ones, but there was a trade off. Is people stayed in their lanes and they understood that there was a lot of work for everyone, and they worked well together. Nowadays, it's everybody's competition. We're training our replacements, and you know what? Hell yeah, I want to train a replacement. If you're crawling around, why? Why wouldn't you want someone to take your place on the floor if you have other opportunities and you're strong at something else? Train your replacement. Find some growth. Um, and everybody's scared of people leaving them and going and working for other companies. And you know what? It's okay. That's going to happen regardless. And if they're not a fit for you, they will leave. If you're not a fit for them, then you leave. It's just that's just the way of the world, man. It's the same way. Every career, every job, every whatever you want to look at is like that. Just
right. We got a comment on Instagram. They said the correct trained guy will help increase profits for their employers or themselves. And yeah, like you got to train them so that way you can't hold anyone hostage, right?
yeah.
They're going to do whatever they want to do, and we've kind of seen people come full circle a couple times, and it's like it's the same thing every single time when they're like, I had to go see what was out there, and you know, right now I'm kind of kicking myself because what could have been if I would have stayed. But it's like, man, sometimes you got to go see what's out there. And you were at a point where you were like, hey, I can do this myself. And that means that 100% go do it. Like, I don't think there's been many people that have left us where it's like, I hate this guy or anything like that. It's like, if you're going to go do it, go do it. Like,
Mm-hmm. If you're gonna go be all in, go be all in, right? We understand. Everybody's got a family. Everybody's got dreams. Everybody's got goals. Um, just just know that there's a lot of behind the scenes that even we're still learning, that go on for being a business owner.
yeah, we're still learning 100%. We still, take classes to learn how to do some things. We're in, you know, um, not necessarily like we did masterminds with Kyle Hadeen. We're in programs with that we learned through our local chamber and some of the organizations over here where it's like, no, I'm not, I'm not 100% at what I do. I still need some help. And that's how it always should be throughout your career. You should always be asking for help because there's always something that you can do better.
If it gets too easy and you don't need any help, then you should probably find something else to do and hand that off. Um, this
And
gets
I
hard.
think besides like training, which is a huge one, that's something that you can look into because we're definitely lacking a lot of people that want to get out there, and like you said, it's not lucrative and you're not going to make a bunch of money, but you do meet a lot of cool people.
Heck yeah, all the time, every day. Um, what other things in the industry? What other I don't want to say services? What other careers have kind of popped up that you didn't know about, Daniel? Since we started getting really
um,
involved,
I'm looking at just like moisture testing. um, since we got certified for moisture testing, like if you haven't thought about it,
I got to
start
redo
thinking
mine
about
by
it.
the way.
What's that?
I got to redo mine by the way.
Oh, they have, you can redo it at you can redo it online, but if you wanted to wait, you can do it at CFI convention. I think there's an amount of time that you have to do it in between though, so you got to see when it expired and then
Yep.
so. But I mean, just moisture testing in general, the the amount of, if you really went all in and just pushed out there that you did moisture testing and went to all these GCs and was like, this is a service that I offer. Everyone needs it, whether they want to believe they do or not. Everyone does. Um, you get your name on that list. I got calls from a job in Ohio, and then you throw out pricing, and it's not cheap because that travel time, right? But I mean, I've done a couple jobs for a contract. I don't remember if they were out of state or if they were in state, just on the other side. I think they were over by Detroit somewhere. But like doing um, big chain stores, we're talking 20,000 square feet, and they're like, we need you to go do some moisture testing. I'd shoot them out a price. They're like, all right, go do it. I'm in and out in 2 days, and I mean it's a good chunk of money that can be made. And I'm doing everything myself. It's not like I have a couple guys there or anything. I mean, it definitely
Right.
helps. Don't
And
get me
technology's
wrong.
come a long way on that too. I mean, there's other, like you just mentioned, the east side of the state, which when we talk about that, we're talking a 2.5 hour drive minimum. Um, there's there's a lot of collaboration going on between different manufacturers, and they're teaming up to make things a lot easier in the flooring industry too. And it just
Right.
happens to be uh, one of those people, one of those companies is here.
Floor Cloud, 100%. Floor Cloud is actually, we just put it on one of our projects and it's doing a great job. I'm able to go to the GC and the architect and say, hey, man, we're monitoring things in real time and this is what's going on. And you have to get these numbers down or else these products are going to fail. And to have um, a credential behind your name that's like I'm not just doing this to tell you this is what's happening, like I'm trying to make some extra money. No, I'm trying to tell you these things so I don't have to do anything extra and things aren't going to fail.
You're essentially protecting their best interest, the client's best interest, the flooring company's best interest. Um, and that's one thing you can spiral into that. People
Right.
go, I'm only going to do moisture testing. I'm only going to do. Recently, went and got took an inspection um, class with NAFCT a few weeks ago down in Georgia for a week. Um, I mean, it's just things like that because I know that getting older and you can't be in denial, right? It'd be nice to have options as your career progresses,
Right.
and that goes with the discipline and what you know a little or a lot about for installation, and what you know about running a business, what you know about helping a business, people management. There's a lot of different things to think about.
But honestly, man, like if you are gonna think about something, moisture testing is one of those things that you should be thinking about right now, and especially partnering with Floor Cloud. I'm actually gonna go ahead and play their video right now because they're 100%, they're great.
Real-time monitoring of your job site conditions via desktop or mobile device. No more manual checking for temperature, humidity, or even dew point. No need for base stations, Wi-Fi, or external power sources. Simply scan the QR code on the front of your sensors and you're up and running with the most accurate and innovative site monitoring system in the flooring industry. Dispatch your crews with confidence and reduce your climate-related installation issues. Floor Cloud. Now you know.
Now you know. And over here on Instagram, they're saying that it doesn't have to be just specialized training for certifications. They feel that everyone needs to be trained on fundamentals and specifications. And when I was in, one of my first certifications, that's kind of what I was saying. And I'll never forget. I just talked to him the other day. It was William Thornton with Target Sports, and just going into it, and a lot of it was the certification, and he kept on going over things, and he's like, it had to do with concrete moisture testing and all this stuff, and he was like, but you guys don't need to know about this, but you guys don't need to know about this. It's like 100% we need to know about this, man. It's like we're the ones that are on the ground, we need to know about all of this. And I think that's the issue, is that people think that you're just a flooring installer, you don't need to know about any of this, when really we're the ones that need to know about everything. So we're one of those areas where we're just undervalued.
And they don't. I don't want to say they, right? Like, listen, you should know about everything. You should know as much as you possibly can about whatever career you choose, about every aspect that you want to know about. Anytime that a lack of information can hurt you, you should know.
But getting back on the topic of inspecting, I've been to, and especially with the NAFCT, Paul's an inspector, so I've talked to him quite a bit, and he's talked to me and has talked about, going that route when it comes to expanding services too. And even Chad Bookie is a local inspector here. He was a flooring installer, and now his focus is on inspecting, and that's something that you can do too. And you're actually kind of ahead already, from what I've gathered, because you just took that inspection certification and you kind of knew a lot of the things that were going on. It's just a matter of how do you put everything together after you're done inspecting, right?
Right. So and I'll be honest. Like, whenever I'm going to a class or going to a training certification, I'm always a little like, what are we talking about? What are we studying? Do I need to study any literature, right? Because I'm not, I don't do it every day anymore. I'm not on the floor every day, and I don't know what I'm missing. Um, I don't know if I'll miss anything, but I'm always a little nervous going there. And we went down there, and it's just like they started talking and videos and all the information. Everything was like click, 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 and I was like, oh, okay, yep. I guess I have been doing this long enough to retain some information.
Now, after you went through that class, do you think that it's feasible for someone like pretty new to go through it and come out like knowing what to do, or should they be in it for a while?
I would. It's feasible from a document standpoint, right? Like they have all the questions or all the answers to all the questions listed somewhere in some place. But if you have some knowledge on how to navigate through the industry, that's going to help you out way more than a textbook. I mean, you have you don't want to say this is what I do, this is what I specialize in, but you're going to need 6 months to write a report, right? Because you don't know the information. That's that's where that's going to be.
And
You
that's
don't
one of
know.
those things that we talked about too, right? It's when you're talking about expanding your services, make sure you're expanding not only into like these things, but making sure that you know how to use a computer.
I will
Like,
say, we'll say it gets easier.
I mean, even Andy McWilliams went from installing to a technical role, and he was like, the hardest part is learning how to use a computer, learning all the programs, and how to put documents together. So, I mean,
That is
down
not
the
easy.
line, it's going to have to happen. You only got so many miles on your knees, guys. So, what are you going to do to offset this thing?
I wish there was
And
more people interacting today because I would like to know their thoughts on that. Like, you know, where have they found success? And I'll go to Ken Ballin, right? Like, he was good at what he does, but he's also spun off and done a couple things of his own that um, we don't know how it is, but hopefully it turns out to be very lucrative for him, right? He's sharing information, sharing knowledge, um, and there's other installers that are out there doing their thing for social media. They're getting a lot of uh, a following, I would say, and they're showing off their work, and now they're also advertising for tooling companies and all that. And I don't know how much of that is pro bono, how much of it is being reimbursed, but it just goes to show that if you find something that you're good at, there are other ways to use that one thing or to use your brain and your skill set to make more money in more than one avenue.
right, look at Ruben from Floors by Southern Boys, right? That dude has his own like store on his website. Now he's going around. That dude is now he's setting up his canopy that he's got with his logos everywhere and showing people, advocating for training.
Yep. See, I mean, there's a lot of different things. You don't always have to be the first. That's for sure. It's just add to what's already there.
But I definitely wouldn't recommend just going out there and again just try to start something that you have no idea about. Do your research. Don't just go out there and I'm just gonna, like I said, go start some polished concrete. And I had to have a conversation with that person. It's like, I don't think you understand the amount of stress that you're gonna put yourself under.
I can I can give a quick rundown on expectations of it, but I can't give instructions on it, right? I only know what I know because I it's the limited I know from what it's supposed to fit it, what it's supposed to look like when it's done, how it's supposed to be, and how it looks from the literature standpoint. But I can't give you step by step process on what you're supposed to do.
But that's what they have YouTube for, right?
Yeah, yeah, why not?
Jesus said he's got signal from the storms in Houston. Didn't even realize that the storms were that bad over there.
Hopefully everybody's all right down there.
Yeah, hopefully you're good, man. Let us know if you need anything.
I don't really know what else to add to that. I mean, everybody's got to
Well,
find their own niche. Everybody's got to find out what else they're good at if they're trying to expand into something.
well, yeah, but I mean, just like people ask us, like, why don't we do ceramic, right? Why don't we expand into ceramic? And my answer is, I'm already good at what I do, and we've already expanded our services to include other things. Like, we're already good at carpet, we're already good at resilient. Ceramic is another beast. Wood is another beast. I
Right?
don't want to be an all encompassing that just gives you areas where you can partner up with people.
Yeah, there's somebody out there that's got the years of experience and training and certifications required to do a phenomenal job for you, with you, however you want to look at it. Um, and if they're expanding, they want to learn what you know, then help them out, and I'm sure they'll help you out.
Yeah, and like it don't have to be anything huge. What we're talking about is you can get an inspector kit, and I know Chad said that he drives around in a Tesla, so he doesn't. You don't need anything super huge or a huge amount of tools or anything. When I go do moisture testing, it's basically in a box in a few boxes that I can fit in the back of my truck.
And they look pretty cool because they're all Milwaukee boxes, not biased or anything like that, but pretty sweet setup.
Pack Out Nation. But definitely, it's always worth researching, expanding what what you want to expand into before you actually do it. Ask people questions. Come to us, ask us questions. Um, to be honest with you, we've probably got $20,000-$30,000 worth of heat welding equipment. Did
Yep.
that all that happen overnight? No,
No, not
that
even
took
close.
years and years to collect.
Yeah, I still remember the first time we bought that thing. We were so excited. We went both to the same job and did a 3 foot door seam. One 3 foot door seam with the heat web because we were just excited to have it. And I think that that's the thing when you're finding out what to expand into. If you're excited about it, chances are you're going to do whatever you can to make sure you have all the right information, training, and tooling for it. So find something to be excited about. Don't just jump into it because someone tells you you have to. Uh, Dive into it because
And
you know you want to.
start doing mock-ups. That's what we did to teach ourselves. When we just think about when we first got the sports floor groover, we were in the garage on some underlayment. What are we going to do in order to learn how to use this thing? Let's go use it.
Yep. Notice he said in a garage. That was legit.
I mean, we started in the garage, so
Now we just have a bigger garage.
but definitely reach out. We wish Paul could be here. He definitely can lead a conversation and ask questions. He's way better at it than we are. We're definitely just co-hosts.
Yeah, just co for sure.
So we appreciate you guys for joining us all the time. If you have any questions, reach out. If you like the content, give us a like, a subscribe, share,
Share.
please. If you don't like us, still give us a like, subscribe, share.
Share it with
Thumb,
everybody else and tell everybody, hey, look at this. I don't like
yeah,
this.
share it with
Share it.
everyone. Be like,
Like,
never listen to these
give them
guys.
a thumbs down for me, please. Everybody
These
just do
guys have
that.
no idea what they're talking about. I mean, sometimes maybe we don't, but they don't know yet. So share it. So we'll see you guys next week, and we appreciate everything you guys do for the show, and we can't wait to keep on going.
If there's anything you guys want to talk about or know about or bring up, I know that there's a link or an email address that you guys can use to contact.
Right
Let
there,
us
the
know.
huddleforwardprogress@gmail.com.
Go ahead and use that. I mean, we always want to know what subjects are on your mind. What are you guys experiencing right now? And that goes across the U.S., not just here in Michigan. We want to know what is going on in the flooring world.
And until next time, see ya.